All right, let's see how this one does. I think this should be good. This should be good. This one should have no problems. I'm hoping. I guess we'll see. Round 3. Third time's the charm. That's usually how it seems to go, right? If we can't get this one going, if there's some sort of issue with this, then it's something metaphysical. You know, something outside of the realm of I don't even know. So bizarre. I don't know what was going on. Because the internet connection's perfectly fine. I have no issues with anything else. It's been pretty normal over here. Otherwise, yo, Pungent Zeus with the 20. Let's go, baby. Thank you so much. I got DDoS. Is that's when somebody that's like when somebody sends a bunch of people at your thing, right? DOSed? Is that what that is? That's when you get a bunch of people sent to something? Porcupines nibbling on cables? Yeah, probably. I live, I die, I live again. Imagine if that was reincarnation. Imagine this, right? Imagine you get through life. Let's say you live the most beautiful life. Like all your dreams you actualize, you're wealthy, you say, let's say this, you fix the world. You're like a perfect being. And you're on your deathbed, you're like with your beautiful spouse. Everything's perfect. And then you finally you succumb to death. And as you do, you see the light and you're like, no way, we're going to heaven, baby. And as soon as you hit through the portal, you just come out and you're a baby again. That would be awful, dude. That would be awful. Yeah, basically overload your network so it craps out. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of, spiritual internet deity that didn't like me. There's already real internet deities that don't like me, so a spiritual internet being is not out of the question. Somebody, who was it that was mentioning me talking about the speed of light decaying being problematic? I could see that. I'm so glad that video did well. Well, I guess not well. It's actually doing horrible. Compared to how many subscribers I have now, nobody sees my videos. Makes no sense. People couldn't find me on Instagram today. Like, I don't want to be the guy who's always complaining about the shadow bans and everything, but it's just weird. But the thing is I'm literally never going to stop. Like, listen to the intro of Duh Heads. If you want to stop me, you're going to have to kill me. So, good luck. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s voice coach. That is such a funny username. Right. And then, Pretty Eyes, thank you, though. One of the best vids I've watched. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to do a part 2 to it. And I think the part 2 will probably be, I don't know, probably on the Patreon. It's, the speed of light decaying. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Like, I've looked at the studies. I know that contemporary science does not want that to be the truth, because if that's the case, it changes science entirely. But it also explains why time feels like it is speeding up, and the way that it makes time feels like it's speeding up is light is like order in terms of the metaphysical realm. So light brings order to things, and time would be more of a chaos. So light brings, I don't know exactly how that is. That's just something I read. Light brings order to chaos, right? And so it would make things feel like they're going faster because the speed of light's slowing, which makes physical reality start to rip apart. That causes entropy. What's gravity in this model? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm not a physics guy, like, by any means. I don't know much about physics. I don't really know. I assume, because I don't really know how gravity affects. I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm not gonna lie and make something up. I totally could. I could be like, yeah, gravity is, yeah, I don't know. Iowa loves you, bro. That's so funny you say that. I used to do a lot of stuff out in Iowa, actually. Funnily enough, I filmed a real fake documentary in Iowa where I pretended to be a famous jazz musician, and we started a jazz band, and we tricked a bunch of jazz musicians that I was like a crazy, like, artistic savant, and we formulated a fake jazz band, and I pretended like I was a director, and I would like direct the band, like dancing like all crazy and all weird, and I like convinced like this small band that I was like a crazy person, and it was really fun, and it's really funny. And then I had like a big falling out with everybody. Well, it wasn't a falling out, it was a very strange situation happened. So it never will see the light of day, but very, very interesting things happen with that. No one understands gravity, and if they say they do, they don't. Yeah. Yeah, gravity is, I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works. You know what's crazy? Like, I was thinking about this. This made me sad, actually. This made me really sad. I was out walking, and the sun was like setting, and the sun was like peering over the trees, and the air was cool. I'm like saying something beautiful, and I have to like belt. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? The sun's setting, and it's like it's beautiful. And I was thinking about like how nobody will ever be able to make anything as beautiful as just reality. You know? That's like a pretty depressing. Like the most beautiful, like the Mona Lisa, right? Or whatever. The most beautiful paintings of all time will never even compare to like a single person. You know? Like somebody commented and they said like Izzy is such a complex personality. And it was like everybody's that complex. Not just me, everybody's like that. Everybody is as interesting and as complex and as, you know, that's what creation is. You know, and we can only create like we have like projects, and some people just happen to be famous for their projects, you know, like Kanye West, you know. Kanye West he's always my example artist I talk about, but he's just really good at like his little arts and crafts. You know, like it's so weird. I don't know. The earth is not a ball. Okay, if you say so. What the heck? What the heck was that? What the heck was that? Something like... What was that? Did something just fall? Let me watch the playback. That was really weird. What is happening right now? That was really weird. I think something fell. I don't know what's... I'm like freaking out right now. Sick hat. Thank you so much. Is you have the likeliness of Christ. Oh, that's pretty intense. Thank you, I guess. That's a great compliment. What do you think about Jay Electronica and the Mothership? Jay Electronica is interesting. He married a Rothschild. Didn't he like cheat on her or something? NDEs equal timeline jump. You don't experience your own death. You know what's super interesting? I believe that. Because I'm going to talk about this in the near-death experience special. When I was going through my near-death experience, I'm not even exaggerating. There was, and I've talked about this in the past. I was communicating with like a higher version of like myself. Okay. And when I was communicating with this higher version of myself and other like deity angel being things that were good, they weren't evil, and they weren't like, they were literally instructing me to open my third eye and to jump between timelines. Because with my near-death experience, I experienced myself dying multiple times, like dying, all throughout the entire experience. And then, this is one of the weirdest parts. The person that I was dating saw me appear as a spiritual being in her room. So I completely believe that that could be a thing. So I could totally see that being a thing. In your Erica Kirk video, you mentioned building an AI for esoteric research. I use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is it's open. ChatGPT is really bad if you don't know how to ask it questions and if you don't know the biases going into it. So really what you have to do in order to, you have to kind of jailbreak it, and you have to get the paid version, and you have to be able to basically manipulate it into doing what you want. And you have to basically use the update memory function in order to mold it into what you want it to be. I really liked your latest vid. Have you looked into Walter Russell in the holographic universe? Nah, I'm not really into... I don't know. I'm not really big on that kind of stuff. I don't know. Because I feel like a part of it, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if the Earth is flat, I get the whole, like, if the Earth is flat, everybody's lying to... It proves that we're all being lied to. I mean, I totally understand that. But at a certain point, like, we have to, like, live in reality, you know? Like how far is too far? You know? Am I bugging or is it lagging a bit? I don't know. It seems weird. Electronica really is interesting. He was in an affair with the Rothschild while she was married, and then they split, and she claimed he saved her life. He dropped an album after 15 years right before. What are my thoughts on the end times? It's going to suck. It's not going to be fun. I definitely think it's going to be revelation, basically. And I just, I don't think that it's weird. Like, sometimes I'm like, we're at the end. But then again, there are times where I think we're not even close. Like, there are times where I feel like we're not even close whatsoever. Walter Russell was good friends with Tesla. That makes it way more interesting. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll check it out then. Smoking weed? I think smoking weed is bad. I think if you do it it's kind of like anything. Like, I think if you smoke weed like you drink beer, like occasionally to chill, that's fine. I've known too many people that it kind of, I've experienced and seen it fry people, and they always think like they're not fried, and they're like fried. I don't know though. Like, maybe everyone who here's the thing with addiction in general. When it comes to drug use and alcohol is a drug, obviously, everybody thinks that they're the exception. Like, everybody's like, well, weed doesn't affect me how it affects normal people. And, I don't know. I just know that I've been friends with people who smoke, and as soon as they smoke, it becomes difficult to interact with them. And they think that they're not different, and they are. I don't know. But again, it's like anything. Like, you smoke a weed occasionally, whatever. It's like drinking. It's like you can't be drunk all the time, though. Like, if you're drunk all the time, you might have a drink problem. And as someone who struggled with that, I totally understand that. Someone said weed nowadays is way too strong. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people who use weed to get sober. And personally, weed makes me I hear things. I can't. It's really psychoactive for me. Very psychoactive. And I'm not. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good at all. Your dad proud yet? Oh, really? That's unfortunate. I thought you were genuine. Have you ever read the Silmarillion? I get reminded when you were talking about Genesis. No, I've read a little bit of it. I haven't read the entire thing, no. I can't smoke weed. It makes my body shake uncontrollably and makes me very paranoid. That's really crazy. Shake uncontrollably? That's really, really intensive, actually. Yo, thank you, Dirty Sig. You rule, dude. Thank you so much. What are the Luciferian and Malachian sides of the industry? Basically, there are different factions within everything, right? But there's different factions within the music industry. You know, Satan, the devil, Satan, there are different, I call them like faces of him. There's like different personalities that manifest as different deities, right? If you look at like the Qliphoth, which is the inverse of the Kabbalistic tree of life, there are 13 Sephirots, but they're emanations. They are basically like personalities of the adversary, of Satan. And one part of them is like Lucifer, the other would be like Moloch, right? Malachian. They're different deities of the same deity, okay? Kind of like how, you know, like the Trinity, and with God, how it's like 3 persons, 1 being. It's kind of like that. And the Luciferian side of the music industry has a different agenda. Luciferians are essentially trying to push humanity to its farthest potential, right? Almost like Elon Musk would be of the Luciferian consciousness. Moloch would be more somebody like Hillary Clinton, who's like trying to like have massive wars. People who are, you know, into pederasty and who are pedophilic, they're more of the Malachian consciousness. People who are, you know, like transhumanism and all that stuff, that's all Luciferianism. They're the same thing but different. I meant that actually. You said you were here to avenge him at one point in a video, and I genuinely mean that. He should be proud of you. You're amazing. Oh, thanks. Yeah. There's just like there's a group of people online who like use that as like a way to like insult me. I don't know. It's like a very very silly bunch. I still have some sticker packs. Yeah. Oh man, I gotta bring this shop. I gotta redo my shop. I've been meaning to do that. That's so funny. I finished your metaphysics video. Can't wait for your physics video where I learn what your metaphysics are. That's so funny. Yeah, I know. I like finished that video and I was like, wait, this is just like my cosmology. This is like more my physics. Yeah, it's very funny. I think I was actually reading one of your comments earlier today, actually. Hello, Izzy. Did you watch Him? What did you think about it? I didn't watch Him. I'm not interested in... You know, I don't really watch horror movies anymore. I genuinely think that stuff gets into your space. I don't think they're good. You know, I used to love them. You know, I'm kind of... Oh, that's what I should talk about. That's a great topic. So, other than like watching like... I'll watch Love is Blind with a friend of mine, right? Like, her and I watch it, and it's super funny. It's a reality show. It's something to turn your brain off to, whatever. It's silly. Silly, just trash, you know? So... I've never really, not never, in the last couple of years, I have not watched a Netflix series. I haven't watched any like documentaries or anything. I haven't watched any of that stuff on Netflix. I really am not somebody who consumes a lot of media other than like the silly reality TV show stuff. Like, that's it. So yesterday, Yesterday was kind of a weird day, and I kind of took it easy. I did a bunch of work, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it easy. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to watch something on Netflix. So I turn on Netflix, and the first thing that comes up is this show, and it's called Perfect Neighbor. And it's a documentary, and it focuses on body cam footage. And basically, the documentary is this like older Karen, quote unquote Karen, and she's like a crabby, crazy, grouchy old lady. And everybody in her neighborhood has a problem with her. So the kids are always running around in like this like yard that's like not hers, but it is hers. Like there's a plot of land next to her house that's not hers. But then on the other side of it, it is hers. So basically, the neighborhood kids all run around and they play in this one little section. They're not allowed to go in a certain part of it because that is hers. Well, these kids will like run around, and she's always calling the police on the kids and all of this stuff, right? So she's just super grouchy, super problematic, an older woman. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, this seems kind of biased against the old lady. Like, it seems a little biased. And it's just the vibe I'm getting. Because I'm watching the way the parents of the kids talk about the woman. And they're calling her a Karen and a bitch and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then she's calling the police on the kids who are harassing her. And they'd call her a Karen. So basically what they do is they would bait her into reacting. And then when she would react and call the police, then they would kind of gaslight her. And I'm noticing this is a cycle, right? And I'm like, this is super biased because we don't really get to see her side of it. And they're immediately, like, the very beginning is this body cam footage where they're painting her as this, like, kind of monster. So obviously I know something bad's going to happen, right? So I'm, like, watching it more and more, and I'm like, this is really interesting. So then one day, one of the kids tries to put his dog in the bed of her truck, and she loses it. And so she calls the cops. Now, this is where it just starts getting so weird. So first of all, I have a lot of things going on in my personal life right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little stressed out. Like the last time I live streamed, I kind of was snappy. Like I have a lot going on. I have a lot on my mind. And so I'm watching this, and first and foremost, the cops show up and they're like, oh, who's the kid? And they're like, oh, the kid's Izzy. So I'm like, of course the kid's Izzy. And then they're like, nah, Izzy's not his real name. His real name's Isaac. And I'm like, well, that's a weird coincidence. Okay, of course there's something weird going on with this. Anyways, I'm, watching this. And it gets to this point where I kind of lost my train of thought with that. So after the kid like puts the dog in the truck or whatever, things keep happening. She keeps calling the cops. Long story short, the kids end up running around in her yard, and they leave their rollerblades and a tablet in her yard. So she takes the rollerblades and the tablet and she throws them into an area where the kids are. And she's like, get your stuff out of my yard. So the kids run and tell their parents, oh, she threw something at us. The mom comes over and she bangs on the door and she tries to get into the lady's house. She's trying to fight the lady, and the lady shoots her through the door and kills her. So obviously that's horrible. That's super horrific. If something like that happens, obviously call the police, whatever. So it seems like these kids were basically gaslighting this lady, trying to start shit. The lady reacts inappropriately, mind you, and she kills this lady. But then the lady she shoots was a black lady. And so then it takes on this whole angle of this like race baiting, like they tried to like pin the lady as like a race. It was just super weird. And it was like, okay, like I don't know. It just felt super weird. And so I looked into it, and the lady who made the documentary was friends with the lady who got shot. And it's just like, there's like obviously an ongoing investigation, and I don't know, it just seemed really weird. So I'm like, that seems like something that's obviously not good for race relations in the country. We obviously have all these riots going on, like people are being like ripped from their lives. We have this thing that's like sowing even more attention, because then I looked into like people's reactions to it, and people were obviously like, it was just really weird. I just got a weird vibe from it, especially because like, I don't know, as somebody who was a teacher for like 10 years, I can tell when kids are not telling the truth. And it really seems like these kids were like really antagonizing this woman and then not being truthful. Oh, and then there was another detail that was really weird. So while the police were on their way there to try to help the woman who had been shot, people had made a bunch of phone calls to one another in the neighborhood to coerce their story that they were going to give the police about the lady throwing the rollerblades at the children. So it was just really like there's a lot going on with it, and it just it felt weird. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch something else. So so that's obviously a super heavy, depressing thing. Then I put on this show. It's like Monster, the story of Ed Gein, right? It's Halloween time. I'm like, I want to watch something spooky, whatever. Within the first episode, they shoehorn in Nazis. Ed Gein was like a weird murderer type of person from Wisconsin. And they shoehorn in this whole plot line about Nazis and about the Holocaust. And I'm like, what? So then they basically turn this plot line into Ed Gein was basically a Nazi who fantasized about Nazi women. So I watched the first episode and I'm like, they shoehorned in a bunch of Nazis. And then the second episode, one of the lines in the second episode, he like goes into a bar and he opens the door to the bathroom because Ed Gein was a schizophrenic. And when he opens the door to the bathroom, he transports into a Nazi bar, and they're celebrating the establishment of like a concentration camp. And one of the Nazis literally says, "We are celebrating the fact that we have almost exterminated all of the blank from Europe." And I'm like, what? Then I finished that episode, and the next episode is like about like transgenderism in the 1930s. And I'm like, what? Because Ed Gein used to dress up like his dead mother. He would like, he's like the guy where the stereotypical like wearing your mom's skin thing, he actually did that. And so they're like trying to make it this weird like transgender affirming thing within this episode. It was the weirdest. It was so bizarre. It was so weird. It felt like it felt like I had like transported into another, like an alternate universe, and I was an alien watching like the programming they're trying to like throw onto people. It was so weird. Oh, thank you for the $4.99. Thank you so much. Didn't mean to sound like a dick. No, you're good. No, you're fine. Hey, I'm gonna be right back. I have to use the restroom. Don't go anywhere. The stream is just getting going. I'll be right back. So anyways, yeah, it just was like really weird. It just felt really, really weird. This is getting Trumpy. Not a Trump supporter, so I don't know. This is getting Trumpy because this guy's not Hassan Piker enough for me. This guy's not abusing his dog. This guy's not abusing his dog. Oh, you know what? You're a little bit more right than me. You must be a Trump supporter. That kind of mentality is causing a lot of problems in this country and in reality. You know what? I can't pin your political ideologies because they don't fit into a normal box. You must be the opposite of what I am, so that's bad. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really, really weird. Apparently talking about how there's propaganda within Netflix television shows makes me makes me a Trump supporter. That's so crazy. Yeah, I'm actually super curious. What about what I just said was Trumpy? I'm so curious. I'm so interested in that outlook. Like earlier today in the Patreon, I was having a conversation with somebody, and it was so interesting seeing like the realities people live in and how it is not reality. You know, I don't know. It's just like I purposely share a lot of my thoughts on things so people can understand how complex people are. Like I was talking about earlier, like people are so complex and there's so much more to every single person, you know, than meets the eye. And it's such a disservice when people throw labels or categories onto other people because one, they don't understand them, or two, it doesn't fit into whatever they think reality is. So, you know, like here's the thing, right? So this person says this is getting Trumpy for whatever reason. For me to assume that that person is a leftist because they said that is me doing what that person is doing, right? So instead of me thinking that, you have to take, or me, or whatever, anyone has to take a step back and analyze what it is this person is trying to say, right? And what that actually means. Because it's just such a problematic, judgmental way of existing. And it creates so many problems for so many people. And it's just like super lame. I don't know. But, you know, I don't know. I think you could do a lot of content based on Netflix propaganda. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely could. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely could. It's pretty... Netflix is pretty... It's pretty lame. It's like so bad. It's crazy how... I don't know, like not... It's a massive part of why I don't view media. Because then you become somebody who you view reality through the lens of whatever the propagandists want you to view reality as, right? Like to just, I mean, it's literally just like what I'm talking about right now. It's like, oh, you know what? Ed Gein was a white dude from Wisconsin. He must have loved the Nazis. Like, you know, let's shoehorn in a Nazi storyline. You know, it was just super weird, super lame, super just uncreative. And then like there's like a whole part where the girl, she like, there's like a girl that's like his like love interest or something, and she's like, yeah, I got these pictures from this guy who's an OSS. And he's like, what's the OSS? And he's like, the OSS is, they're spies, and they've infiltrated the Nazi movement. And he gives me pictures of concentration camps. It's like, what? It's like so wild. Remember when Netflix did the Dancer show and then removed it? Yeah. Cuties, right? Cuties. Yeah, that was an interesting one, huh? Your content is very thought provoking. Yeah, I try to make it thought provoking. I try. You know, well, it's interesting. I've been seeing a trend lately of like anything. I think it's just due to the political climate in the country. Is like anything that it is thought provoking, like it makes people angry. Anything that's not like good guys, bad guys. I'm a good guy and so are you. It like makes people, it makes them like really crazy and like lose their like mind. I don't know. They like don't know how to like react. It's very interesting. It's a super interesting thing. Oh yeah, the first stream was titled Angel Numbers All Day. Dude, I've been seeing angel numbers literally all day. Like all day long. It's so weird. My odometer was at 111 at 222. At the time, 222. Then I looked at the clock an hour later and it was 333. I looked up the car in front of me. At 333, I looked up the car in front of me was 555. I'm like, huh, I'm going fully schizophrenic. I'm fully losing it. All right, I need to make these failed live streams private. Although it would be good to leave them up so people can see what it is that I actually go through trying to just do something as simple as live stream, but it's all right. All right, cool. Have you ever watched the first season of True Detective? Nah, I haven't. Izzy, where does your interest in the occult and esoteric originally stem from? Just from, I don't know, it's just interesting. I think that stuff's just, I think things like, I mean, because it's kind of like a branch off of philosophy, but it's also kind of a branch off of conspiracy in general. You know, there's like a whole magic world, and people believe you can manifest things, and it's just an interesting realm. I feel like there's just so much more to reality than we allow ourselves to access. You know. True, I feel like you can make simpler slop conspiracy content and get more views, but you're cultivating a community of people trying to go deeper than the truth of it all. Yeah, like, I mean, I used to call it conspiracy pop slop because it like, anyone could make a video saying anything And I try to make everything I do, I try to make it so that it's something I haven't seen before. You know, it's kind of like with my opinion on music. It's like if you can't bring a voice that's not just interesting, but that's different enough that it hasn't been done before, then it doesn't need to be made, right? And there's so many, you know, like little accounts and stuff that I've seen that are just people who go, "Whoa, isn't this crazy? Red Bull? Moloch was a bull. What if he was red? That's demonic." You know, I don't think that's good for anything. I think it's just digital trash, literally. And I think, I don't think that's good for anything. I don't think you know, and I think a lot of the esoteric stuff, it got to a point with like the music conspiracy world that it's like that's kind of the next level, because with, you know, part of the reason I focused on the music industry for so long is because, like, if you watch the Metaphysics of Lucifer video, I'm talking about vibrations. Reality is at the subatomic quantum level. Reality is made up of vibrations. That's what it is. So music affects that. Music affects things on a quantum level. That's when I say like it affects things quantumly, that's what I'm talking about. It literally affects vibrations and light. It affects reality, you know? And so I think that's why the music industry is so important to people who are into esoterica and into the occult, and that's why they focus on it, because there's so much power that can be derived there. Music is a form of manifestation. Music is it's a way to manifest things. You're literally vibrating and changing reality. When I had my near-death experience, I asked God, what's the secret to the universe? And God literally told me, everything is music. And at that moment, everything became a giant song, and everything was a perfect orchestration with everything moving in perfect time and sequence. Everything around me was moving, and there was song to it. There was like I was on a heart monitor, and it was beeping, and the beeping was keeping tempo with the movements of the people that were working on me and decompressing me and whatever else. Like, it was really crazy. It was a really surreal spiritual experience. And I think that is the next level of after. It's like the music industry occult, then there's just the occult, and then there's going to be something after this and whatever. But yeah. I'm like Conspiracy Mac DeMarco. That's so funny. I love that. That's awesome. The number of people in the tribe of Judah equals the speed of light in MPH. Yes. Do you think it's all spiritual warfare? Definitely. Everything's spiritual warfare. I think everything is. And once you actually start reading the literature, you realize a lot of these creators don't actually know what they're talking about outside of Wikifacts and talking points. Yeah, I think that is something that has began to trigger a lot of other creators. I made a video talking about how if a content creator is focused on how Baphomet is, the devil. Baphomet is not even the devil at all. They probably don't know what they're talking about, and then that turned into this one particular group who, saying that that's because I worship Baphomet or something. Very odd, very weird things, but I've never understood like the whole. Like, so there's like the conspiracy pop slop stuff, I don't think it's good for anything. I think it's like waste, literally digital waste. But at the same time, I think bringing attention to that stuff is good. And I think it can be good, and I think that it does kind of, like, people like it, you know? And I think that people who create issues with those kinds of content creators, those people should be looked at in like with like kind of sideways, because, you know, some people are not capable of going super deep, and some people don't want to go super deep because this stuff does get really scary. People literally like mess with you. People literally mess with you in real life if you start going too deep. You know, like, look at Bill Cooper. Look at, like, people die investigating some of this stuff. And some people are just into it to go, oh, that's weird. Isn't that weird? Like, some people are into it for those reasons. And I kind of stopped harping on that for so much because, you know, I'm an intense person. I have an intense outlook on reality to the point where sometimes people think I'm being mean or I have a tone or something. And it's kind of just my disposition. And I don't want people to feel like I'm bullying them out of a space, you know, because some people just want to have fun with this stuff. And I have to be able to take a step back and understand that that's okay. You know, like, not everybody's trying to change the world or save the world, but maybe them making a video saying, isn't that weird, opens the door for somebody to really do some, you know, some great research or something. And I need to understand that. And I think a lot of other creators need to understand that too, because, like, you know, I've seen some creators who are like literally doxing people and like really like messing with people's lives. And what is that doing? That's just making this entire thing look bad, you know? So I don't know, like, you know, there's a time and place for everything. And I don't know, there has to be a certain maturity with things too. And some people aren't capable of that maturity, you know? Have I witnessed a UFO? I would say yes. I think so. I think I have. Yeah. Listen to Sammy Hagar cracking the world. You know who Sammy Hagar likes my dad. He's like a fan of my dad's. It's very funny. My dad almost this is an interesting tidbit about my dad. When who was the guy who left Van Halen? Was it Sammy Hagar that left, or was it the other guy? Whoever the second singer was, before that second singer, my dad was actually almost the singer of Van Halen. He was like auditioning to do it, and he used to hang out with Eddie Van Halen, and then, you know, my dad's like ruined it somehow. Super crazy. David Lee Roth. Yeah, David Lee Roth. Great perspective. Thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get better. I feel like we're all kind of on a crazy roller coaster, crazy ride, you know. Nice filter, it's soothing. This isn't a filter, baby. This is a literal VHS camera. I'm actually filming this to tape right now. This is just an offshoot into the computer. Does my dad know about my content? Kind of. So you're not controlled opposition. Yep, I am controlled opposition. Why would you? First of all, if I was controlled opposition, why would I? Dude, come on. This is my answer to, am I controlled opposition? Obviously I'm not. But if you don't have the discernment to, you know, I don't know, man. Ever feel like God is weaving biblical archetypes and stories into your life, like embodying a fundamental pattern? Maybe this is theosis. Yeah, no, he is. That's what archetypes are. So, like, you know, how did archetypes arrive? You know, archetypes are fragments of God. That's the way I view them. Like, you know, there's really like five stories. You know, there is, let's see if I can remember them all. There's the hero's journey. There's this, there's like the discovery story, which would be like Harry Potter. There's spiritual awakening. That would be the Matrix. There's two more. What are they? There's a redemptive arc, which would be like Star Wars, the story of Anakin. There's one more. Hero's journey, redemption, discovery. Oh, and then there's the discovery one is like discovering who you are, like Aragorn, right? Like Aragorn finds out he's actually a king and all this other stuff. You know, those archetypes exist within stories. The stories themselves are archetypal, but the characters within them each has their own story, their own archetypal story. I'm actually going to be doing a video on it soon discussing Marvel versus DC and how if somebody's a fan of Marvel or DC, it says a lot about them. Marvel is more of a plot-driven realm. I don't know what you would call Marvel. The Marvel universe is more plot-driven. It's more like, you know, I don't know. Magneto is going to explode Earth. We got to stop him. Then you have DC. DC is more character-driven. Now, you know, like, I would argue the rogues gallery of Batman is and shows a lot about the sort of like American archetype as far as the villains go, because you have people who relate to the Joker, people who relate to Bane, people who relate to the Riddler, people relate to Batman. And all of these interpersonal conflicts are more interesting than Batman. Like, the relationship between Batman and Joker is more interesting than Batman fighting Joker. Like, Batman's going to beat Joker up. But what makes it interesting is the back and forth. It is the interpersonal relationships that they have. Whereas with, you know, Marvel, it's more like, how is Ant-Man gonna do it this time? You know, and within those, then you actually have, I don't know. Sam said, I relate to Clayface because I am a golem. That's so funny. Do you think these musicians and celebrities know the spiritual consequences of their involvement with the really dark stuff? Yes, I do. And I think that that's why things like drug problems are so prevalent, because it's a masking. It's they want to distort the long-term ramifications of what it is that they're doing. I only like certain characters. Which ones? I don't relate to Marvel or DC, though. Only the characters. So then, well, that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Pisces Angel, you're very handsome. 1111. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm gonna grab a drink. I will be right back. I'll be 5 seconds. All right, I might have been like 10 seconds. It might have been a little longer, but am I a broken person if I don't enjoy superhero stuff? No. Definitely not. Am I a broken... Oh, wait. Sorry, I just read that one. Have you ever tried telekinesis? Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Who hasn't, dude? I think Captain America is G-A-Y. That's funny. Well, you got to think about when Captain America arose. Captain America, you know, started during World War II. I think his like first storyline, like Red Skull's a Nazi and all that stuff, you know. I think, I think Captain America. It's kind of boring. Like I don't know, like he's a super soldier and you root for the USA. I don't know. I can't believe that's not a green screen. Why are there artifacts in your vids? Like, I don't understand. Dude, like, this is, like, I don't know what to, like, this is a guitar. This is real stuff. Like, this is not a green screen, guys. Look, this is real. This is all real. Everything in this video is real. Like, this stuff is all real. You know? Like, like everything, like, look. My meme, my Labubu. You know, like.
Is the Labubu actually Pazuzu? Is the Labubu actually Pazuzu? Is it actually Pazuzu?
Why does he have a Labubu? Is he? Oh my god, dude. The Labubu is actually a very telling piece of information. I literally have the Labubu because I'm doing a magical operation with him. I'm injecting the spirit of nihilism into the Labubu. We're gonna have the Labubu possessed. Bro's main weapon is a shield. That is so funny when you think about it. You have a green screen glow around you in your vids. Like there's some blur around your hair. Yeah, dude, this isn't I'm telling you, this is not a green screen, bro. Maybe it's the lighting or something. The glow might be from the green light. Bro, I don't even have a green light in most of my video. I literally like didn't even start using the green. I think the green light is only in like 2 or 3 videos. Flip to the other camera and show him the VHS. Like, is it the lighting? It's my aura, bro. Dude, it's literally my aura, bro. I'm telling you. You guys are tripping. It's literally my aura. JoJo's here, fresh out of no gi to an Izzy stream, so fire. It's holy light. It's his aura. It is. It's my aura. He's on AMAC or something. I don't know what AMAC is. The green light symbolizes greed. Only Gatsby can see it. What? You guys are so funny, dude. You guys are so funny. I don't even like I don't really like the color green. I feel like the color green is like not a good color. So dude, I feel like it's gonna be 2026 so fast. Is anybody ready for 2026? Green screen gate? Dude, I literally showed you like everything behind me is real. Like look, like these are real. Like this is like, dude, this is not a green screen. I don't know like what I don't know how much I could possibly. I don't know what I could do to prove to you that this is not a green screen. Like I literally just like look. This is messed up now because of me proving it to you guys. Whatever happened to Hassan? Is he still streaming? Is Hassan Piker still streaming, or is he freaking out now? Is he done? Did he quit? You got to get a new, more serious chair for 2026. This chair was free, so I don't have gaming chair money, dude. Someone said he's pulling the candles out of the green screen realm. That's so funny. Predictions for 2026. Something big will happen with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell will get off. P. Diddy will get off. What else? I don't have any big ones, I don't know. It's a set in a studio, guys. Dude. Yep, I'm in a studio. I'm in a multi-million-dollar studio. Stock market collapse? No, it won't collapse. You said you'd never vote, but would you vote for Nick? He would vote for me. He's a fan, bro. He's a fan. These people are... You guys don't get it, bro. What do I have to do, guys? What do I have to do, guys? Okay, Fran, good. I was going to say, dude, if you think I'm in a... What do I have to do for some of you to get it? What do I have to do? What do I have to do? There's a couple people who get it. I think there's a couple people who get it. I think I'm going to grow this stash to just be like so crazy. Like crazy stash. Green screen gate goes so deep. Like, dude, I don't know how. I'm literally pulling into the green screen realm. Like, I don't know how. Turn the green screen off. That's what you have to do. I don't... Make Army Green Y-Star hat, then I'll believe. That's a great idea. Yay in the chat. Where's Yay? Will the real Slim Dylan please stand up? That's funny. That's a good one. I think it's interesting that I get the Tim Dillon comparisons. What's funny is like projecting. I didn't really understand. I did not understand. I didn't realize how much people projected until I started doing this. And like so many people will tell me that I either remind them of someone or that I'm copying someone. And it's always people they watch. Like people will often say that like, they'll be like, you try to talk like Nick Fuentes. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't even know how he talks. It's like you are listening to Nick. You are obviously listening to Nick Fuentes, and then you listen to me, and you are trying to make a connection that's not there. Same thing with like I think the Tim Dillon one. I've gotten Theo Vaughn before. Like what? I don't consume media, so I don't know. When are the shirts dropping? What shirts, dude? Do I think Alex Jones is an agent? I think Alex Jones is somebody who... I think that I don't really know. I think that Alex Jones is somebody who got out of a lot of trouble, and I think that like maybe Trump or somebody helped him, and I think that's why he's so like rah Trump now. So I don't know. I don't know if it's Y-Star shirts. Dude, I have Y-Star shirts. No, you seem like if Charles Carroll and Nick Rochefort had a clone test tube baby. See, like I've never heard, no one's ever told me I'm like Charles, ever. So that's like a super new one, right? I look like your dad. Maybe I am your dad. Tim Dillon has been compromised. I definitely think Tim Dillon has been compromised. And I say that as someone who like, I've never been a big Tim Dillon fan, but I don't dislike Tim Dillon at all. But I mean, Tim Dillon has always said he will take money and accept money from anyone who's offering it. You know, I think Tim Dillon has definitely taken some of the Voldemort money. He who shall not be named. Charles and you would have a great time talking. Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be cool. Alex Jones is weirdly obsessed with Trump now. Yeah, dude, Alex, like, I genuinely think, like, maybe Trump, like, stopped something, like, from getting to him. Because, like, every single thing that Alex Jones talks about now it relates to Trump. Everything. Like, every single thing he says. And it's like, I mean, unless he knows something we don't know. I mean, it's almost like Q. It's like Q levels of, like, Trumpism. Get Izzy on Perfect Guy Life in 2026. That'd be sick. That'd be super cool. It'd be fun. I don't know if... Who knows? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know anything. In my opinion, who controls the world? Satan does. I mean, it's Satan's playground, right? And I think Satan has different iterations of himself. I think right now we're in the Luciferian iteration. That's like what the Aeon of Lucifer is. Alex also has a weird Russian bias. I don't hate Russia as much as the next guy, but Alex always inserts apologetics with Russian topics. What are your thoughts on Orthodoxy as a Catholic? I'm not a hard Catholic, guys. I'm not like a super... The Catholic Church would consider me right now as... what is it? What is it called when you're, like, not practicing? Yeah, I think Orthodoxy is super cool. I think it's beautiful. But again, you know, I'm writing a book right now about how denominations are bad identifiers of your walk with Christ. And it's not, you know, like I had somebody recently tell me that and they said this seriously, the only Christians are Orthodox. And it was just like, what? Like, you can't believe that, you know? What do I think of the They Live sunglasses being a real thing? I don't think they're a real thing, but I mean, maybe. Who knows? That's why you must hate this world before you can truly love Christ. At least that's what Ignatius of Antioch said. I believe that. I could see that. What do I think of the digital ID rollout? I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I don't think it's going to happen. Apostate. Yeah, that's the word. What's the difference between Catholicism and Christianity? Oh, boy. Catholicism is Christian, so there's not really... That's kind of... It's like a... There's not really a difference. It's not really the right question. Reason for drifting away from the Catholic Church? Problems. Big problems. I've talked about it. Apostate is someone who stopped believing. I thought apostate was somebody who stopped participating. A person who renounces a religious or political belief or principle. Yeah, so remember, I said that I think that the church would find me as an apostate. Not that I think I'm an apostate. So the church would say. Were the patriarchal fathers Catholic? I would say yes. Yeah, Dune rules. Again, I'm not saying I'm an apostate. I'm saying the church, the Catholic Church would view me as an apostate. That's what I'm saying. You guys are not. You got to listen. Have I wrote a book before? I released like a poetry collection, memoir kind of thing. I'm gonna take 4 Zins and puke my guts out. Love you, Izzy. Love you too, bro. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna hop off for the night. It was fun. Appreciate everybody here. Let's say a quick prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours now and forever. God, please bless this chat, the viewers of my channel. Send your spirit out to all of these people, all the broken people in the world, all the broken people in the chat, everybody who needs a help, some of us who just need a little leg up. Teach us patience, kindness, forgiveness, your loving ways. Allow us to not be judgmental, to handle reality with a kind, loving heart, just as you did. Even when people need to hear the truth. Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do. Is get the truth out to each and every person. And we're fighting some big Goliaths in that. So just bless us as we do that. Let us continue to move in your everlasting peace, power, and purity. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. God bless you. Peace. Peace, peace, peace. God bless.